Hi, my name is Kelly and I'm with ArborXR. And today we're going to talk about Quest for Business. Meta recently announced the final release date for Quest for Business, and we've been hearing from organizations for months now wanting to know what kind of capabilities it'll have. So our team did a deep dive. I personally have spent countless hours on Quest for Business's platform, just getting familiar with it. And we want to reveal what it's like to work with Quest for Business so that you can make an informed decision yourself as to whether it's a good fit for your organization. Today, we wanted to focus specifically on enrollment and provisioning, in part because that is actually some of the most time-intensive and energy-draining tasks. So we want to take a look at the flow for Quest for Business. But before we do that, there's a couple things we think everybody should know about Quest for Business. First of all, it's time-consuming, it's complicated to use, and it's really designed for employees, not admins. We'll get a little bit more into that here in a little bit. It's also not device agnostic. So that means that if you wanted to use AR devices or VR devices by other manufacturers, you can't actually use them with Quest for Business. It's a closed ecosystem and it's only capable of working with Meta devices. It also is more expensive and has less features than XR MDMs. And that's just at a baseline. If you wanted to have multiple students or multiple employees use the same headset or share the same headset, you have to pay an additional fee just to be able to do that. And lastly, it's launching with pretty limited availability. It looks like to start, Quest for Business will only be available in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Japan. I'm going to take a look at three different areas. We're going to take a look at preparing Quest headsets for enrollment, enrolling devices into MDM, and provisioning MetaQuest headsets. No matter what MDM you choose, Quest requires you to go through an automated setup that you'll have to pair controllers, connect to Wi-Fi, watch a video, and do several other tasks. You can't skip it. You can't bypass it. This is one of the most frustrating aspects for admins who are setting up large deployments, that they have to go through a lot of steps, and sometimes these steps are wasted because you'll have to do them again once they get to a training room or to the end user. So let's talk about enrolling devices into MDM. This is actually where the process starts to differ quite a bit. Here's a high-level overview of what enrollment looks like with Quest for Business. Quest for Business is designed for employees to self-enroll into an MDM, which means that employees will have to go back and forth between the headset and a desktop to complete these steps. Now, we work with over 2,000 organizations, and we know that most companies and schools do not want their users enrolling and setting up devices themselves. So most likely that means IT admins will have to go through these steps over and over again, which is time-consuming and complicated to manage. What I want to do now is show you some of what you'll have to do in order to get through the Quest for Business enrollment. After you've gotten through the majority of the setup with the MetaQuest, you're then faced with this flow. Now you can either pair your device to a companion app, which we'll come back to a little bit later, or you can press connect to your organization, which is where you start the flow for Quest for Business. Then you'll have to create two accounts for every device, a Meta for Work account and a Meta Consumer account. This might seem like a small thing, but we hear over and over again how frustrating this is to manage at scale. It can be incredibly complicated and messy to keep track of hundreds or thousands of accounts in an Excel spreadsheet. Plus, Quest for Business currently plans to charge you more if you want your headset to be shared with multiple employees or students. There are three different areas where you'll be going back and forth between a headset and a desktop to complete these steps. So you'll be setting up the work account, you'll be enrolling in your organization's mobile device management software, and then you'll be setting up your Meta account. So I'm just going to give you a sense of kind of what it looks like in the headset. Again, this is all designed for employees to do themselves. You'll be waiting on Quest to enroll your organization's device management. And again, this is just a very cumbersome approach to enrollment. Then once you get through that section, you have to create a Meta Horizon profile, which is like a social media profile for Meta. Here, you have to agree to Meta's privacy policy, which I would read closely. And once you get through this section, you have to create a boundary. And this might seem like a small deal, but if it's a person's first time using VR, this can be a little bit overwhelming. And if an admin is setting this up for the first time, this is actually a wasted step because they'll have to redraw the boundary anyway once it gets to the employee or the student or the training room where it will need to be. At the end of the enrollment flow, admins still have a lot of challenges in front of them. They can't remotely launch or view content. They can't control what users see or do. They can't see robust session analytics or lock down the headset. They can't monitor the install status of VR content very easily. There's a lot left that admins will have to figure out without a more robust device management software. So the big takeaways here is that Enrollment is time consuming with Quest for Business. It's also designed for employees to self-enroll, which is not ideal for most organizations. And device and content management are very limited. So now let's take a look at Arbor XR with Quest. One of the big things to know is configuration packages save time. So you can load apps, Wi-Fi settings, and device settings all during enrollment. And after going through the automated device setup, Arbor is at least 2 times faster than Quest for Business per device. Our enrollment is designed for admins, not employees, and it's built to scale. Okay, so back to the Arbor XR enrollment flow. The first few steps are the same for any MDM. These last couple of steps, I want to bring a little bit of clarity and just show you how they work. The first thing you'll need to do is put your device in developer mode, and this is pretty simple. On the companion app, you go to device settings, you click headset settings, and then you toggle on developer mode. You can also use the MetaQuest developer hub. And so just as a part of the pairing process, you can enable developer mode. It's pretty simple. And then you plug in the device to a computer and you allow USB debugging. Now that you've done that, you're ready to provision to the MetaQuest. And now I'm going to show you how configuration packages can save you quite a bit of time. All right, now that you're logged into your Arbor organization, you will go to the Groups tab. And I've created this test group, which is built for Quest devices. And at the group level, you're really able to control what content is assigned to the group, what devices are enrolled in it. You can even control what users see and do in the headset. So for example, what apps they have access to. And we're going to click on the settings tab and scroll to the bottom here. And configuration packages are where the real magic happens because you're able to combine enrollment and provisioning of settings and apps into the exact same step. So this package that I've already built has apps, it has files, WebXR links, Wi-Fi configurations, which is significant because if your employee or student puts on the headset, it will automatically connect to whatever network you've set up for it, as well as various other headset experience settings, install and updates, etc. So now that we've built this package, I'm going to show you how to both enroll the device and provision it with these elements at the same time. This is the Arbor XR device setup app. And from here, you can either log in to your organization and enroll one or multiple devices, or you can provision with a configuration package, which is what we're going to do. This is the one that we've downloaded that we've already built. Now that your configuration package has loaded in the device setup app, you're going to take a MetaQuest that you've already gone through the setup process with, and you're going to plug it into a computer. I'm going to name this test 1, and then we'll press setup. All right, now that the configuration package is loaded, you can see right here under status, it says setup successful, and this device can now be controlled at the group level in your organization. The last thing I want to leave you with is a comparison between ArborXR and Quest for Business. As you can tell, they share a lot of the same basic functionality, but there's a lot that's missing for Quest for Business. When it comes to content management, you can't support native video or WebXR support. Remotely launching content isn't possible, so you can't see what users are doing in the headset or troubleshoot if there's any issues. There's no version control, so if there's a bug or an issue with an app that you're using, you can't easily roll back to a prior version. And then when it comes to the device management side, there's the fact that you can't add other AR or VR devices to Quest for Business. You're only able to use Meta's hardware with Quest for Business. There's no remote kiosk mode or multi-app launcher that you can use with Quest. And they're lacking severely in session data and analytics. And that's just a few things we could talk about. There's a lot more that we know we could help you with. Reach out to us today at arborxr.com and we're happy to answer any questions you have.